Okay, welcome to a new and mixed bag episode of Impact Wrestling. It doesn't mean it's a bad show. I want to make this clear before I go any further. It was a bit of a mixed bag. Wasn't a bad show at all. But I gotta say this honestly. Because of what happened last week, we have a big question of what's exactly going on. Sorry guys. What exactly is going on with Moose with this title? Now I will cover it in this review. But you wonder where they're going to open up with Moose. Because it would make the best sense. They just did something interesting. Something a bit different. And something that's predictable at the same time last week. And if anybody says that's not predictable, letting the Impact Championship, which is in Mexico, go off and then they're doing something with TNA, it is. Sorry guys. But instead of opening with Moose, we open with Sami Callihan, we open with Shamrock, we open with Elgin, which I gotta be calm. Look, everyone's to the right to their opinion. If you guys love Rebellion, which was a good show, no problem. More power to you. But the ending sucked balls. I'm sorry. Seeing Sami Callihan pass out to a Shamrock made no sense. And Shamrock ring, oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Shamrock didn't win that match. It was stopped. You see Sami in my face. You are telling me they decided, instead of just going full bore with it and let Sami just lose here, they had a stoppage because Sami couldn't function. Really? That was bullshit. And if anybody tells me that's not bullshit, that's good storytelling, no it isn't. How is it good storytelling? One, and I will cover a little bit of what they said. One, how is it storytelling when you know full well that Sami should have won because he's the one who is going forward in the company? Shamrock is not. Two, you're crazy enough to have this match with Sami, which made no sense in the very beginning. Like I said, he should have been building up to get back to Tessa. Yes, I know she's in Mexico and she's stuck there, but they could have been building up for Tessa. No. They decided to do Shamrock. And then now you make him not only job, but job with no meaning by there being no contest. Basically stoppage, no contest. So Sami tries to make this work. He tries to make this mean something. He tries to say, I didn't tap out. I passed out. This isn't the Bret Hart versus the Steve Austin. You can do some similarities to a certain extent with Sami Callihan with Steve Austin, but you're talking about a Steve Austin who passed out to one of the greatest pro wrestlers, not MMA or mixed martial arts or UFC fighters in history. There's a difference. You got pro wrestling. You got MMA and UFC. There is a difference. This was not the same. And trying to pull the same shit was stupid. But then Sami calls out Shamrock. And Shamrock tried to justify it, saying that you're better than most I've dealt with because you passed out instead of tapped. But guess who tapped? The Rock tapped. Big Show tapped. He talked about a person from Ultimate Fighting Champion. I don't recognize him. Not saying that he wasn't important in UFC, but I forgot him or I don't recognize him. He tapped out. Let's put this aside. Look, I want to end this. Or do you want to continue this? I want to end it because I want to get the title. I know you want the title. So let's squash this. Or do you want to go into the back and try this again? He puts his hand out. And that's when Elgin comes out and says, look. Simply put, and they kind of talked a little too long. Elgin trying to sell this and talking too long. This is where the major issue of Impact is just like the major issue with WWE. Nobody at ringside. And if you guys said the segment was great, fine, more power to you. But a segment or a wrestling match is not great without someone there to cheer or boo it. And like I said with AEW, yes, this is not great having wrestlers as fans. Because they're not fans. They're wrestlers. But still, it's at least something that would work and has worked to a certain extent. Here, there's no heels. There are no faces. You don't hear people booing. You don't hear people saying, hey, shut the hell up, I'm doing my business. That makes it better. And this just did not work for me. It was flat. And then it was worse that Elgin saying, you guys are not getting in line. I'm first. I beat everybody here. Get behind me. Then they have a fight to try and justify it, which made no sense. Look, Elgin has nothing to worry about. He's still number one contender. Why is he worried about these two who have to go for everyone else in a freaking tournament, which they did announce later for the number one contendership? This is where it makes no sense, guys. You got Michael Elgin, who legitimately is one of the number one contenders to go up against Tessa, and now they have a tournament to try and justify that Tessa's not there. Elgin, instead of being told, Elgin, you're going to have to wait your turn against the number one contender, or that you lost your shot as number one contender. They don't address it. They just say there's a number one contender tournament now. What was the point of Elgin coming out? They could have just announced the number one contender tournament, say that Elgin has now lost it due to the fact of what's happened. That I do not agree. They should have They should have done this from the very beginning and just been transparent about it. Saying, guys, look, Tessa's not here because she's trapped in Mexico. We're doing a new number one contender tournament to basically make this fair, because Elgin cannot be champ. Elgin can't be champ. Unless he wants to go after the Impact title, he can't. Now, first match. We had Triple XL versus OVE. Now, here is where they needed people at ringside, because, well, it was Jake Chris with Madman Fulton. Dave was at ringside. He was trying to get his brother interested in hype. But you can't have just one heel cheering for someone. It's awkward. Heels don't normally cheer for one another, even if they're relatives. You need fans to make the cheering or the booing work. And he did both to a certain extent, which sucked. I just don't agree with this. They need people at ringside, no better than AEW, to try and compensate for this. In the end, well, I do like Larry D and I do like AC Romero. I do like them as XXXL, the overload, as I'm going to call them, if I don't forget. But here's the problem. There are no fans to make it interesting, and even though they won, it felt empty. Now, Swinger went up against Suicide, having the same issue. No one is there. Now, it was good to see Suicide, and I believe it's Caleb Connery. I believe that's who's under that mask, because he's done it before. When TJP wasn't there, that was Caleb. So he's not like a really great Suicide. I don't hate him as Suicide, but he just doesn't feel like a true Suicide. I'm sorry, guys. He's a good high flyer. He's decent in the ring as a regular wrestler, but as Suicide, he just feels lacking. He just, if that's him, I could be wrong. In the end, Suicide wins, and I know there's at least one or two of my subscribers who actually like Swinger and would like him to work more with Disco Inferno. Guys, I heard one of you say, hey, give Swinger a title. You can't give him a title. Swinger is not meant to have a title. Swinger is meant to be a joke that wants a title. He's not a Santina Marella. Let's be honest here. Santina Marella went from being a total joke to actually being something that people want to cheer for, because he did try to get the title. What was it? The IC title or the WWE or World title at one point. I can't remember which one. In Elimination Chamber, people loved him then because he went from a joke to actually being serious. He is not serious here. If you make Johnny Swinger serious, then you might be able to get something with the X division. But as a world title holder, no. I'm not surprised he jobbed here. We got a couple of vid packs, mostly hyping up the tournament itself. The number one contendership for the tournament of the Impact title. It was alright. Then you had a very interesting thing. You had Kiera Hogan having a vid pack. What does this mean? I've already said it, and I know one of my subscribers says, are you crazy? We need to build up the Knockouts title picture. We need to have women in the Knockouts title. Navarra, I believe that's Navarra, as well as Kimberly, because I will talk about Locker Room Talk in a minute. It's good to see that they're showing 2 new knockouts, but let's be honest here. What has Kiera Hogan done? And I say this to everybody who believe that she should stay where she is and not leave Impact Wrestling. I do believe she did renew her contract, but let me make it very clear. As it stands, you have done nothing with Kiera Hogan. Yes, she's been in the storyline with Tessa Blanchard. She's been in the storyline with Taya Valkyrie. She's been in the storyline with Allie dealing with Su Yung. And then Allie dealing with Rosemary. And then dealing with the Undead Realm. What has she gained from it? This is what I pose to you. What has Kiera gained? What? Has she gained the option to actually finally hold the title? No. Jordynne Grace has had it before her. Tessa Blanchard has had it before her. Taya Valkyrie's had it before her. Rosemary had it before her. Allie's had it before her. Everyone has gotten it but her. She's considered a jobber. Look what happened when she went up against Kylie Rae. And I like Kylie Rae. She jobbed to her. What happened to the Neil Dashwood? She jobbed to her. She's jobbed to everybody and she helps everybody else's storyline. When is it time for Kiera to actually be prominent? And I say this to you guys. When is she going to be prominent? She's not. That's why I'm saying when this pandemic is over and things have settled down, if she has not renewed her contract, I do believe she has. If she hasn't, let her leave. Go to NWA. Go to AEW. I say NWA because there she'll have to work on her mic skills more. She's not a bad talker. She's good in the ring, but I do believe she needs more mic work. And NWA puts a mic in your hand and say, go out there and put yourself over. And that's why I say she should go there. That's me. But when it comes down to it, Kiera has gained nothing. Let's move on to Moose. Moose had an interview with Josh Matthews, trying to justify why he has the TNA World title. When you had the special with TNA, I don't remember him actually going to try and get that title. He wasn't in the match, I don't believe. But he decided because he's gone up against RVD, he's gone up against Rhino, he's gone up against, Shamrock, he's gone up against every person you can say that has been brought back to put him over. He's earned the right to be considered a TNA champion. Now, here's the thing. This actually is a good thing, a stopgap in between Tessa not being there. But I would have liked him to say, I am more TNA than anybody else. I am Mr. Impact, but guess what? I am more TNA than anybody else. And I know people will say, well, he's been doing that. No, he hasn't. Not in the extent of saying, I am more of a TNA than anybody else. I deserve a title of TNA. If he had said that, then him taking the title from storage, like Josh Matthews has said, would actually make it better. If he didn't just say that I am Impact Wrestling, I am Mr. Impact, I am better than any TNA original, then he would have said, as the guy who's beaten all TNA originals, I am a true champion. I deserve to be champion. I deserve to be a TNA champion. If he said that and then got the title, that would justify this much more easier. Him trying to justify it doesn't work that well. And then when Josh Matthews says, well, we're having a number one contender tournament and you're in it, how are you going to deal with it? He says, I'm not being in it. I'm opting out. I'm foregoing it because I am the true champion. He did great with that. I agree with that. If he is a TNA champion, there's no point in him saying that he needs to do the Impact thing, because if he did, it would not justify him. And when it came to, well, I do admit with Madison Rayne that she said, I don't understand why he's not in the tournament. Doesn't he want more gold if he's already a champion? He wants to prove that he's the best and hold all the titles? She is correct in that. But if you're going to try and make him mean something, and also my idea that they may turn the Impact World Championship into an Impact television title, this might be leading to that. Because after Kessa comes back, no matter if she wins or loses, or if someone else gets the title and wins and loses, and they use this title in a kind of like a battle, they could easily transition the TNA World title into a TNA television title. They need one. The X Division is not really doing much. I'm sorry. As much as I love the X Division, it's not a mid-card title. It's an undercard title, even with Option C. Now, we had my favorite part of the show. The North versus the Super Jobbers. You got the North at, Battle Arena in Canada. And you got the Iceman doing the announcing. And when it came down to it, the North calls out the most strongest team you could think of, the most powerfulest team you can think of, even though Josh Alexander, I always get Josh Matthews and Alexander mixed up. Josh Alexander wants to face Kurt Angle because Ethan Page says, who you want to face? This is Kurt Angle. You got the most skinniest ass guys. And look, I'm 5'8.5", almost 5'8.5", because of my injury, my disability. I'm kind of lopsided with what's going on. My height is not exactly right. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm kind of lopsided. I have one leg like this and this, so I'm kind of like this. I have to wear things to keep myself balanced. But I'm 5'8", maybe 5'8.5", and I'm maybe about 170 pounds, but at least I look like I got meat on me. These guys look like they're anorexic, and nothing against anorexic, but these guys are super skinny, and they get destroyed. It was funny seeing that Ethan and Josh were messing with the spectators. You see them on their face. The dolls they got in there and the mannequins. But then seeing them destroy super skinny jobbers, that was gold. I gotta say that was gold. I liked it. Now, let's move on to the final thing of the night. X Division title. Triple threat. Ace wanting to put in this rematch clause now because Chris Bay, I still call him the Smooth Criminal, even though he calls himself the Finesser. I still say that he's the Smooth Criminal because he can steal one from anyone. Chris, how you doing? Take it, man. It will work. Call yourself the Smooth Criminal because you can steal a win from anyone because you are that damn good. Say it like that, and I think that would really be good. Even though the Finesser does have a good ring to it, I say the Smooth Criminal is better. And then you got Willie Mack, who not only accepts Chris Bay's decision, he has no problem of seeing Ace Austin come in. So they have the match. Good match. Chris Bay does get bloodied in his mouth. Unfortunately, didn't grab that shot. But I did not expect Willie to job here. It's too soon for him to job. If he had jobbed to either one of them, that would have been stupid. And there's nothing against Chris. I like Chris Bay. And nothing against Ace. I like Ace. But if you're going to build a story around a Willie Mack, maybe with Option C later in the year, you need to keep him with this title. In the end, did we get a good show? Wasn't bad. And locker room talk with Havoc, dealing with Kimberly, and dealing with Swinger was funny to a certain extent. I mean, I'm not saying locker room talk is hilarious, but it is a Jerry Springer-esque show. And it is a bit of a change up we don't normally see. And I'm alright with it. And let's be honest. Madison Rayne's acting like a douche. I'm fine with that. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!